Hi, welcome to Parenting in Progress. My name's Anna, and around here we experiment. We try new things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they do not, and then we talk about it. So, if you're here for the ride, let's go. So, let's talk about my life lately. For some background, I have an almost 2-year-old. I have a 4-month-old baby. They're both boys. And then I also homeschool my 16-year-old sister-in-law 3 days a week. So it is chaos over here, always. I went to my friend's house the other day. She has a little girl, the sweetest little, calmest little girl. And I walked into her house, and her little girl was just over playing in the corner, and her husband was sitting at the table, and then she was sitting on the couch, and I just was like, what? Your house is quiet. That is not my house. And I was going to say I'm okay with it. Most of the time I'm okay with it. Sometimes I get super overwhelmed, but that's just parenting, and that's what we're here to talk about. So let's talk about my life lately. Other than that, let's talk about 2 Sundays ago. I was at church and had my 4-month-old baby in church. This was like in the adults meeting. And my baby was super fussy. He's usually really good, but he was super fussy and just did not want to sit still. So I was up bouncing him. One of the other sweetheart moms was like, oh, I'll hold him. I'll bounce him. Like, I love all the moms that are like, I miss my little babies. Let me hold your baby. I'm like, yes, thank you. I need a break sometimes. So she was bouncing my little 4-month-old. He's squiggling. I was so excited. I got to actually listen to the lesson. I was like, this is so nice. I actually get to focus. And then I look over because I heard a little gasp. And there's just poop running down her beautiful yellow breastfed baby poop. All down her beautiful dress. I was horrified. I felt so bad. Like, kid, can you at least, not poop on someone else? Poop on me. I don't care, whatever. But, she was so nice about it. So, if that's, a little peek into my life, yeah. Don't worry. She told me this last Sunday it all came out, and she offered to hold the baby again. I did not take her up on that offer this time just because I felt so bad, but in the future, maybe. She has been christened, so. Another fun story I was thinking of with my toddler that happened this past week. So my almost 2-year-old. He is top heavy. He has a huge head and a little body, like most toddlers, but I feel like even a little more. He's a small kid with a big head. And he just gets bumps and bruises on his head. I feel so bad, but he just, topples into things, And he was playing with my sister-in-law who was over, and he jumped off the couch. I was like, Auntie! And she was going to catch him, and of course, she didn't in time, and he bonked his head on the side of a table that we have there, and just got this big old gash across his head. At the time I was reading the book Hiroshima. We're learning about, the Hiroshima bombing. And in that moment in the book, I was reading it out loud to the 16-year-old. And I was reading about this mom and her kid. The bomb went off and her kid got buried and was screaming Mama, Mama. And of course at that exact moment, my toddler goes, Mama! And my heart, already pounding in this book, was oh my gosh, panic mode. My child is dying. I look over and he just got a gash on his head. It takes me a few moments for my heart to slow down. I rush over to him. I mean, it's a little gash, but bleeding profusely. So I immediately start mopping it up, go get a Band-Aid, put it on it. It's all good. He's just crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I look over, I see the chocolate chips. Yes, chocolate chips. that will fix this. I go over, grab a chocolate chip, give it to him, immediately happy. He got so excited. Chocolate. That's one of the words he can say, chocolate. So I decided that chocolate heals all wounds. And I'm going to keep that in my mom toolbox. Chocolate chips. Maybe I should keep some in my diaper bag. So those are just some few moments in my life in just the past 2 weeks of what's been going on. And, it's great. It's great. Sometimes I have to tell myself it's great, but I love my kids. I love it. It's so fun watching them learn and grow. Someone asked, what is your favorite thing about your kids? What do you love about your kids right now? And it's just watching them progress and grow into their little personalities. So many moms get so sad about their kids growing up. And I get it. The bittersweet stuff. But I love it. Each new age is my new favorite. That positive attitude. This is my new favorite. Look at what he's doing now. Look at what he learned to do. Look at his little personality coming out. So let's move on to our second part. What did I try this week? Tried. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So let's talk about what kind of worked. So this week I worked on involving him more in cooking and chores. Specifically in cooking, baking. He's the most independent little guy, my toddler. He just wants to do everything. His favorite phrase is, I do it. No, Mom, I'm gonna do it. So he loves to bake. He has one of those little toddler towers, and he has learned to push it around. It's so cute, except when he pushes it right up to the stove. That's a little scary. But he pushes it around, and he pushes it up. And so I've been reading this book, and I'll get to that in the what's on my mind this week. But in this book, it's just talking about, these kids should just be part of your life. Do your everyday thing and bring them along, right? And so we made muffins this week. Some amazing, they're zucchini, spinach, carrot. Okay, you're probably thinking amazing, yeah. No, the cocoa powder covers it up, I promise. My husband even eats them. So, and he's gonna hate me for saying this, but he's a picky eater. He is. He doesn't think he is, but he is. And so, anyway, we're making these muffins. Of course, I do all the grating and stuff, but he gets to help pour them into the bowl. So I put the grated carrots in a cup, and he gets to pour it in. And we've been working on pouring. I've set up some water stations for him with cups, and he pours back and forth and makes a mess, and loves it. But pours these carrots and the zucchini in. He pours the chocolate chips and takes a few for himself. I take a few for myself, as you do. And so we make these zucchini muffins. I guess veggie muffins would be a better word for it. They have zucchini. Anyway, and as I'm making, I'm thinking look at this. Usually, I'll admit, I have to turn on a screen or distract him somehow when I'm baking or cooking because he wants to be involved. And there's the efficiency part of me that's I will get this done so much faster. I can do it better. It'll be less messy if I do it without him. And that's okay. That's fine, right? We don't need to involve them 100% of the time. Even if you think you do. I'll get into that in my next thing. But it was perfect for him. His little independence was glowing. He felt so good and so proud of himself. And I'm I need to do this more. I need to let go of that prideful part of me that's no, I will do it better and faster and less messy. And let my kid be a part of my life. He is ready to start taking those baby steps and help me bake and help me cook. He did get a little burn on his finger, tiny burn, from trying to help stir the eggs on the griddle. It was very cute. But, he learned really quick not to touch the stove, not to touch the griddle. So there's lessons along here too. So that was my tried it. I love his little, my turn. So now let's talk about what's on my mind this week. The book I started reading is called Hunt, Gather, Parent. And you may have heard of this book. I heard of it on YouTube. And, the first time I heard it in this video, this mom was talking about the book. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. I saw, I don't know if it was the same influencer and she just really loved this book or was being paid to promote this book or what. But apparently it worked because I saw 5 videos over the course of 2 weeks about this book. And every time it caught me. I was like, that seems such an interesting concept. So I bought it. It was $12 on Amazon. I read the first couple chapters and it has got me hooked. Just those first chapters. I haven't even gotten into the meat of the book. But it's already made me think so much. So the premise of the book, Hunt, Gather, Parent, is that in the field of parenting, we are looking at parenting through such a small little pinhole, right? We solely are looking at Western and European parenting, which hasn't, the way we're doing it, hasn't been around for a long time. And this lady, she was a reporter for NPR. I think that's what's called, NPR. Some acronym. She went around to different societies and cultures in the world. Incan, Mayan, there's another one that I can't think of. Inuit, maybe? Not Incan. Yeah, Inuit, Mayan, and one other. Anyway, and she saw how they parented. And this kind of is where I'm getting to the involve them in your life, right? In the hunter-gatherer societies, they weren't constantly entertaining their kids and saying, here's your toys so I can go hunt and gather, right? No, they involve them. And the kids actually have to be involved. These are the parents' little helpers that they take them in as apprentices and they're training them. I love that idea of training your little apprentice to help you, right? And these kids are so happy to do it. It's not this power struggle that we often find, especially with toddlers. I got this book specifically because I do it toddler, right? I have a independent, strong spirit that I love, and I want to find out how to nurture that and not crush it. And so this lady, I will figure out her name because I don't have the book with me right here. She talks about how in Western culture, we focus so much on control as parents, right? Helicopter parenting, too much control. Permissive parenting, too little control. It's all about this power struggle between child and parent. And she says that's actually not what we should be focusing on at all. And I'm really interested to get into the rest of it. So if you want to read that book along with me, I'll report next week on when I learn more of it. But so far, it's so interesting to me. And I'm yes, you've hooked me. I'm ready. I want to learn. And I'm excited because I've skimmed through the rest of the book. And she actually has actionable ways to do this. Because I power struggle with my child a bit, right? I mean, and that's how we're raised, right? And that's what media shows us is this gentle parenting or this permissive or helicopter control. You need to put control on your kids' electronics. I keep seeing ads for this new teens Instagram, right? You need to control. And I don't think that's the answer. I think the answer is teaching our kids to be people. Because when they go out into the world and when they're teens, they're going to figure out a way around stuff, first of all. I was a teenager. You were a teenager. We know. They're going to figure out the way around all of it. But instead, let's teach them to be autonomous, right? Let's teach them to be their own person. That's more important to me than controlling what they see and hear, because these things are out there. It sucks, but things are out there, and we just need to teach them how to handle it. And how to be their own person. Anyway, I only have a 2-year-old and 4-month-old, but I'm already thinking about these things. You do that as a parent. You just want the best for them, and you want them, even as a 2-year-old, to take that I do it attitude to the rest of their life. All right, so my challenge for you, small shift for this week, is to let your kid do it. Slow down and take the time to let like your toddler or your child help you in a way that you don't want them to so far. Like, that's safe, right? Let go of that control and that power a little bit. I really struggle with letting my toddler to help me do the laundry. I admit it, because he just wants to take one little article at a time and put it in the washer and dryer. And he keeps wanting to close the doors between. And, I think that maybe this is what I need, is to just slow down, set aside time, be like, okay, this doesn't count on the to-do list. My to-do list is to spend time with my kid, right? So this is my challenge to you. Slow down, take time, and let your kid do something with you around the house, something that needs to get done, and see how they react, see what happens. Are they happy? Do they even care that you did it? And let me know. Thanks for coming to my podcast, my TED Talk, my podcast, Parenting in Progress, and I will see you next week with our next progression update.